Hey guys, we today have the founder here. It's Avi, and he says just a biz dev guy. David in here from Battery Funds. Hey gentlemen, nice to have you on here. And
Nice.
yeah, do me a favor, give me a little bit of an intro. Who are you and what are you doing? And to be honest, where does a bold name come from? Well, that's like a bold statement. Is it supposed to be like that?
Yeah. So, David, you want to take the lead?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I'm David. I am not the founder of Better Refunds. I'm sorry to tell you that. I am just some biz dev guy that Avi decided to hire. Avi created and founded Better Refunds about 3+ years ago. We've been operational for about that long. We cover both Amazon FBA and Vendor Central reimbursements. And the reason why we call ourselves Better Refunds is because you just got to get yourself some better refunds, you know? We just do a better job of getting the reimbursements, of recovering that money in reimbursements that Amazon owes to Amazon FBA sellers as well as vendors.
Let's start maybe go a little bit back. I have a few questions here of, going into the topic in general of like reimbursements. I mean, I guess it would be to everybody clear, but maybe also if we have some listeners or learners in here who are at the beginning, like why are reimbursements in general important?
Right. So, as an Amazon seller or vendor, Amazon makes mistakes, and not always you're aware of them. So, basically, if you ship all your goods from China to the US and they do everything for you, right? As an FBA seller, for example, they're going to do the storage, the fulfillment, all the replacements, etc. They do everything for you, and they make a lot of mistakes.
Right.
And as a seller, you don't have the time, you don't have the knowledge, as you know, that the policy always change, always, and you have to be on top of this. And also, you need to file the cases and do the follow-ups. As a seller, you have so many things to do, so many dashboards, so many other things to do, and yeah, so we take this thing off you. So we're gonna do everything for you. We're gonna find the mistakes that Amazon did with your inventory and your money and everything, and also gonna file the cases, do the follow-ups, making sure they're gonna give you full reimbursements.
Yeah.
So
And I guess reimbursements, of course, is clear. Amazon owes you money for losing your products, for destroying your products, damaging your products, and a lot of other things more. Question, are you willing to give like, some other examples of like scenarios when should sellers and maybe on the top, of course, as well, vendors um, get money, get reimbursements? What for?
yeah, so maybe I'm gonna explain things that we do that others don't. That's why we're better.
Okay.
Yeah, we cover things that no one else is covering. I can give you a nice example that we see in almost every account. We can see that sometimes we have a buyer that bought 1 unit, and for some reason, Amazon sent 2 units.
Uh-huh.
And then the buyer returned one of the units saying, "Yeah, I never ordered, like I just ordered 1 unit. Amazon sent me 2 units." And then Amazon will give him a full refund for some reason. So basically, he has a refund and he has 1 unit. So he never paid for that unit. So we also file cases for these mistakes. We're gonna make sure that either the buyer gonna return the second unit or is gonna pay for the unit that he has. So that's just one example. I'll give you some more examples.
Who will pay for the buyer will not pay for the second unit. Amazon will pay the seller the second unit, right? Because Amazon will never request money for the second one, which he never ordered, just because Amazon did the mistake.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well,
Yeah.
then that would be an easy sales. Like, get all of your customers to get 2 units out of your $550 product, and Amazon would have to pay for that. You don't need to sell an additional unit. That's nice. That would be fantastic if
Yeah.
that works. But unfortunately, only, of course, purchasing costs. Damn it.
Exactly. So as a seller, you don't have the time to know and to identify which order there's a mistake. In which order, and Amazon won't tell you that they sent 2 units. It's
Yeah.
gonna be it's these cases are not easy. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take a lot of follow-ups, and we need to prove them that they actually sent 2 units. So as a seller, you don't like as you have, let's say, 100 orders a day, you don't have the time to go over one by one and see how many units were sent. We can. We do it with the software. So we have an app on Amazon's App Store, and then we take all the data, and then we do everything for you. Everything is automated except for filing cases. By Amazon's policy, you cannot open cases automatically and you cannot follow up automatically. So we do it manually. And also another thing that we do that as others don't, we do everything in-house. We don't hire anyone in the Philippines or India, etc. Everybody's here at the office. We make sure to train them. We make sure everybody knows exactly what they do, so the accounts will be safer.
Okay. Do you say do you have other examples as well? I mean, this, I guess, obviously, unfortunately, in such a case, no, not unfortunately, actually, fortunately, because you don't want to just get the money back for the cost that you sold. That I guess doesn't happen so often. But what are other scenarios where you say it's like, hey, sellers or like especially maybe vendors? What's happening with vendors all the time that there's a problem where you could get reimbursements for? So any vendors in here, listen up.
Okay, so with vendors, I'll give you one example. Shortages. Shortages is quite a big reimbursement category. We can see a lot of money that we can recover there. And what vendors usually do is they say, okay, for example, I sent, let's say, 10 pallets. For some reason, Amazon tells us that they only received 8 pallets. And then they open the case, they're gonna tell Amazon, we sent 10 pallets. Where are the other 2? And Amazon will say, no, you sent 8. We can see only 8. What actually happened, for example, is that one truck came with these 8 pallets, and the second truck came late for some reason, and then the other 2 pallets came under, let's say, different shipment. So the vendor can fight with Amazon and say, we sent 10 pallets. They'll say, no, you sent only 8. It's got to be a big headache, and sometimes they will get the reimbursement, sometimes not. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the source of the problem. We're gonna see these other 2 pallets and gonna tell Amazon, hey, these other 2 pallets belong to this one. You never paid for them. You got it in a different shipment. You never paid for them. Please pay for them. And that's how we solve these problems.
Okay. When it comes to the reimbursements, of course, I mean, it does take time to get the money. Is there like a rough overview you can give and say, like, when does the money come in?
Yeah, so with seller, it's quite quick. For sellers, usually they see it the same day. The same day they sign up, they're gonna see the reimbursements. With vendor, it depends because you have your terms. Sometimes it can be
So
30.
for sellers, you achieve that you get paid on the same day. It's like you're signing up, all the cases are being opened, Amazon's answering the same day, and Amazon's giving the money in the same day in all the
So
countries?
so it depends on which reimbursement scenarios. Let's say for losses, damages, and dispose of units, yes, the answer is yes, you're gonna see the money the same day. Sometimes even just in a few hours. So the answer is yes. It's very quick. The value is very, like, you can see the value very fast. With vendor, it takes more time. But because also on vendor, they can approve the reimbursement, let's say very quick, but then they're gonna pay you just with your term. So it could be 30, 60, 90 days, whatever. But
Right.
with seller, you're gonna see the value the same day. You're gonna see on the payment report, you're gonna see the reimbursements coming in the same day.
I think I wish for that over here in Germany. I couldn't, to be honest, I couldn't tell you about the details or what all I mean, I trust, of course, you where you say, hey, those are the better things. This is what's not being covered. Or this is how fast the money comes in. I believe, I'm not sure if Germany is that fast. Our
Yeah,
bureaucracy and
so
especially also
we
Amazon likes to be slow.
we have clients from Germany, from the UK, from Spain, and it's the same with everybody. With certain reimbursement scenarios, it's going to be the same day. Some other reimbursement scenarios can take months, especially for the bigger the case, the more time it's going to take. So we won a case. It was around $80,000 in the US. Was inbound shipment case. It took around 3 months to get the money. But usually with losses and damages, it's going to be the same day because it's going to be just, let's say,
it's a quick check for them.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, of course, I mean, anybody who has filed claims, of course, and tried this before, it doesn't always work. Sometimes there's like troubles, obviously, with this. Do you have any tips or hints when you do reimbursements? How can you get a higher, what do you call, like a success rate or so that well, the file that you claim will actually be paid out by Amazon, because you don't do this just for fun. You do this because of a truth that there's something missing or damaged or lost. What is a good way
Right.
to get a higher success rate?
Right. So first, you need to know the numbers. You need to know the data. You need to analyze it correctly. So like for some of the reimbursement scenarios, recently Amazon changed how they work. So we just provide them with an order ID, and they know exactly what happened there. So for example, it can be an order that you sent as a seller. You sent a laptop, and the buyer returned a T-shirt. We see it pretty often with big sellers. So Amazon changed the how the system works, and what we do now is we just give them the order ID, and again, the same day they're gonna give us an answer, and they say, for example, yeah, we see that you sent this FNSQ and the buyer returned that FNSQ, so you are eligible for a reimbursement. So deep analysis, making sure that your numbers are correct, numbers are adding up. Also, by Amazon's policy, you must be accurate. If you're not accurate, and if you're going to open cases for, let's say, things that you're not eligible, if you open too many cases a day, that's a red flag. We take few steps to be like to be on the safe side, to make sure that Amazon doesn't flag them. All reimbursements are eligible. Every case is very detailed. Every case we say exactly what happened, what we think Amazon owes the seller, how much they owed. And also we make sure after Amazon processed or promised the reimbursement, we make sure they actually process the reimbursement. Because sometimes we can see that Amazon promised you, yeah, here's $500, here's the reimbursement ID. And then wait a couple of days and we see nothing. So we're gonna reopen the case, gonna make sure that not not only the reimbursement was processed, but the entire reimbursement was processed. Because they can promise you $500 and then just give you $400. We're gonna follow up and say, no, the damage here is $500. Please give us the full amount.
Another
Nice.
great way, by the way, another great way of just, getting, a higher success rate is that in certain scenarios, especially when it comes to inbounds, is that you need documentation. You need proof as
yes.
evidence that this is the case. And we've actually had it with a lot of clients who have used other reimbursement services, other providers, where in certain cases, they just weren't getting reimbursements. And we asked, okay, like, did you ever provide an invoice or a BOL, a POD, or other types of documentation? They're like, oh no, we've never been asked to give that. And we were like, so that's why you didn't get your reimbursement. You need proof of this. But like that proof brings it from like almost 0% to like 95, 97% success rate of actually getting that reimbursement.
Yeah. And to be fair, I, of course, don't want to mention names or so, but we're also using some of the tools. And yeah, for some of them, I mean, for sure, you were asking for the proof. Could be interesting to see that. I mean, proof of ownership, proof of shipment, proof of anything that you can have to say is like, do you really actually own it? Do you have the products? Have they been shipped in? And what's surprising to me very often with Amazon is actually they want to see some invoices that you own the products, which I'm thinking is like, guys, actually, if I bought whatever, some units 15 years ago, or let's say 10 years ago, and they accept this invoice, it's like I could be sold out by those units already, but Amazon still accepts it, even though how do you know that this is the units from that shipment? And I mean, they couldn't, really question it. While then at the same time, they don't necessarily ask for proof of shipment in terms of like getting the shipping papers or the BOL. From trucking companies or anything, and you say, okay, I mean, even there's not necessarily a proof needed of how many pallets, how many boxes. So sometimes Amazon is actually, it feels to me, you send the unit in, you send half of them in, but then they only ask for, well, did you own the product actually ever in that amount? Which is surprising to me, and I think Amazon will, of course, pull through, if they haven't done yet, and probably quite soon, and will get more data. So I guess, guys, be prepared as well to have also shipping documentation or transportation documentation, because I don't know how they can miss that, but okay, that's Amazon, right?
Correct. And also about the inbound shipments. So if you're using Amazon's carrier, so the cases are gonna be way easier because it's their carrier. So they have all the data, they have everything, they have BOL, PODs, whatever. Another thing that we can add value to our clients is if you are a private label, and basically you are the manufacturer. So Amazon is not asking for an invoice because you manufacture everything. They ask for packing slip. And we can also help with this. So as a seller, you don't have the time and like you don't want to spend time on this, but we can do it for you. So if we can see an inbound shipment, let's say you shipped 100 units and Amazon received only 90, we can, with your help in the beginning, to set up how the packing slip should look like. And then we can automatically generate these packing slips for you and to give them to Amazon, and the success rate will be way, way higher.
But it's to be open, fair, and frank. Of course, I mean the big ones. Of course, they also have this in there to create, like for example, packing list. But I think it's very, very interesting to see when there's always new things that you're discovering, and you're always coming up with what is Amazon changing, and that there might be a small thing here and something there. Like for example, the double. To be honest, I personally never thought of that. I don't know if it's covered by other systems. I mean, the basic things, of course, are covered by the big ones, but it's very interesting to see that there are also smaller things that come up, like the double unit shipment to an Amazon buyer. I was like, yeah, I never really looked into, okay, the product's gone, screw it. My products are not that expensive, so it doesn't really hurt that much. But if you have a product for whatever, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, $200 in production, that makes a massive change. And yet at the same time, why not automate it with tools? Because you will become too lazy. You don't want to run after $50, which belong to you. And just, yeah, I mean, why not using software, right? And when it comes to the bigger points, when also always a question to me is, we have a lot of clients and then want to exit one day. They want to grow, they've grown their brands, they made good money. We come in and we usually help them, of course, reduce the purchasing costs so that also you have a higher margin. But at the same time, what I hear from of course, some of the refund companies is that there's sometimes massive amounts of money still to be recovered. And I see from so many that they still don't use any reimbursement systems. Now, what's your thought on, I mean, should you get the money before, like when you do an exit or so? Or should you say, oh yeah, this and that money is still in there and you will get it paid through the exit, or probably better do it before, right?
Right, right. So first, with many, many clients that we are the first reimbursement service they use. So the answer is yes. It can sometimes be on the first month that we can recover 1 or 2% out of their sales of the last year. So
And
that's
even bigger sellers, I mean, that is quite a bit. Just imagine that,
yeah,
for activating something, you have $100,000 in revenue and you get $1,000 or $2,000 for activating something. That doesn't sound so bad, right?
exactly. So we had also a very big client. It was 9 figures, and on the first month
That
we
means
recovered.
100 plus.
Yeah. So in the first month we stopped ourselves because we didn't want to do such a good job. We didn't want Amazon to flag the account, so we stopped at a certain point. So we
Okay.
stopped at $150,000 in reimbursements the first month. That was like significant amount that we're very, very happy.
A nine-figure seller didn't use a reimbursement system.
Correct, correct.
And that's a gold mine for you guys.
Exactly. And they had also more accounts in Europe and another account in Canada, separate account in Canada. That was a very big deal. Yeah. And as you asked, especially before doing an exit, it's very important to use the reimbursement service. So you're gonna have more cash. So it's gonna be, so you're gonna get more on your exit. So that's very important.
Yeah, the money is in. I mean, you even get money before the exit. Well, yeah, it's in the bank accounts, whatever you transfer over there then.
Mhm.
Nice, good. Thank you. Where to find out more about you? I guess it's betterrefunds.com.
Yeah, correct.
Nice. Any last words, thoughts, or suggestions you would like? Here's a chance. Maybe it's a bit of a challenge, but that you would like to give any seller out there. What's the one thing that you have on mind? It's like everybody should know that.
So for me at least, Avi can have his own, opinion. For me at least, I feel that Amazon sellers, they have a wonderful opportunity here. They usually, if you're an actual business that is selling things and you're not in Amazon, you have to take care of literally everything under the sun. And if accidents happen, you have to deal with them yourself. You have to deal with, whoever was your provider, your wholesaler, this, that, your shipping, everything. Here, as an Amazon seller, you have Amazon almost doing everything logistically and operational for you. And you have an opportunity for when mistakes do happen to get those reimbursements. So I think it's important for those, sellers to say to themselves, hey, you know what? I actually have a golden opportunity here to do this. Why not go and do that?
Yep.
There's just an
Good one.
extra way of me
Yep.
increasing my profitability.
If I may add one to this one, I mean, there's money lying there. Go grab it. It's the same logic as when we say, look, we have bestsellers. Why don't we look into price optimization? You don't need to sell a single unit more to make more profit if you buy cheaper. So same logic. There is money laying in Amazon's accounts, what they owe you. In many of your products, there's money laying around because you still didn't find for the same or better quality a better supplier and renegotiate prices with the existing one. There's a lot of money out there. Avi, do you
Yeah.
have a... Sorry, I don't know if you were done, or Avi
No,
probably
I was going to say that
one
to
as
your
well.
point, they also expire. Amazon's policies
The
have
reimbursements. Oh,
these
yes.
reimbursement scenarios actually expiring. So,
Right.
and we actually just had a case where some guy, we signed someone on. They were I think, 8-figure seller, and they said, for the first week, I just want, a list of stuff, and then, that's fine. And we said, okay, but you're gonna have certain cases expiring, and he had 8 cases that actually expired over that time. And he was like, yeah, it's fine. And it was like thousands of dollars that he could have gotten back, potentially if we had even just opened the claim. But so you got to get on it before they expire.
Very true. And it's literally what I have set up on my accounts is like click, almost. It's like 3-4 clicks and you're done. All you have to get yourself up, focus on it, do it, click, 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 done. It's really that simple. It's just like getting money back. And even if it's a couple $100 or a couple thousand, or for some of them 10,000, like you said here, more than $100,000. Alarm bells, guys, you got to do that.
Exactly.
Avi, I'm gonna squeeze another one out of you. What's your wish for all the
Yeah.
sellers out there?
Yeah. Okay. When it comes to reimbursements, I don't know if like we see many sellers that are not aware of this, but if you're using whatever you use, any reimbursement service, you can always add us just to cover the things that they don't cover. So it's a win-win anyway. Just keep whatever you have now. You're happy with them. That's great. Let us cover for you the extras, the things they don't do. And I think it's going to be a win-win for the seller and for us. And also for vendors, we're going to be very happy to work with anyone to show you what we can do. Like here, we can talk about the nice things we do, but numbers talk. I mean, we're going to be in the account, you're going to see the value, and we love help sellers and vendors.
All right. Thank you very much for that. I guess with this, betterrefunds.com, right?
Yeah.
And else, I guess the guys, they find you on Facebook, LinkedIn, probably as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're very active.
Thanks for being on there. See you later, guys.
See you. Thank you so much.
Take care.